Alright, welcome back. So we've finished this watch in the previous video, and I took off the screen protector so you could get a good look at what that looks like there. So it's pretty cool. You got that yellow and that negative display, which goes well, and I think, with the stainless steel kind of looks pretty neat. So the next thing we're going to do is now take the parts from that watch and put it onto this case here. This is the AE 1300. And we're going to do a couple colored filters for this guy. So we're going to be using this masking here. And we'll be putting yellow here in the analog clock and then blue here. So for the blue, what I'm using at the moment is Lee filter number 202. Looks like it's called half CT blue. And then for the yellow, I use the same yellow that I used in the top 3 subdials for the previous one that we were working on, and that was, I think it was just called yellow. Let's see if I can find that filter. It's got to be one of these here. And there it is. Okay. And then I used a medium yellow. So 010 for the cutouts. So to do the cutouts, what I do is I'll take the filters here, and let's pretend this is the filter that we're using. I'll put the masking upside down. I'll put it underneath the filter, and like I've done in a previous video, I'll take a Sharpie and just kind of outline where I need to make my cuts, and then cut around there. And then once I'm done with that, you're basically left with your cutouts here. Okay, so to do this, we're going to be using some super glue again. Set this to the side. Okay, again, we use the tin foil, a couple Q-tips. Okay, put a small dab in there. Okay, take our masking, and let's start off with the analog clock first. So before I put on the glue, kind of take the filter here in my hand, give it a clean wipe. Put that down. Okay, and that looks pretty good right there. Okay, so we'll take our glue next and put a small dab in the upper corner of this masking. Let's do this over a piece of wood so you can see better. Okay, so we'll put a small dab around here. Spread the glue around. Okay, take our yellow. And then you can use like a toothpick to position it a little bit. There we go. Now you can see here that there's a dark spot here on the bottom. That means there was a little bit larger of a clump of glue than I would like. So I'm not going to touch that for now, but where it's thin, I'm going to push down here and just let the glue do its work. Okay. And then now come back to this and try to spread it like that. Okay. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is the top dials here. Usually you can cut out one blue piece like an L, but I didn't want to waste filter, so I'm using multiple pieces here. So we'll just see how this goes first. So it'll probably go like that. Okay. Now for this masking, the 1200, the bars here, the crossbars of the masking are very thin, so I wouldn't recommend putting glue there because even a small dab will spread the glue out and then you'll start getting glue into the part that you can see from the other side. So stick to where it's thick. This area here is a little bit thin too, so I'm probably just going to put glue right here where the border is nice and thick, and even if there's a clump of glue there, it can be hidden by that masking. Okay, so that's where my orientation will be. Let's put that to the side for now. Okay, get a little bit more glue. Okay. Okay, we're going to line up our filter all the way to the side. And then line it up like that. So having a toothpick also to kind of hold it down is also useful. And then we'll lightly push over here. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Then we'll get our last filter here. And let's see how this one fits. Okay. Okay, so that's going to go right across over here. Let's test fit it really quick. So again, this looks good. So here, I'm not really going to center it over the masking. I'm just going to put the filter where I can get the most glue. These borders here on the bottom and on the left are very thick, much better than putting it up here. So I know that I'm going to put glue here, here, and then just push this down into the left. Okay, so now that I know where I'm going to put this, I can set this to the side. Okay, get our glue ready again. Okay, we'll take our filter and our toothpick here. Push this off to the side. And then okay, lay it down. Okay, and then press in the glue. And then that's pretty much it. Okay, then we're gonna test how this looks over the display, so we'll take our watch. Okay, and what you want to look for here in the watch is, number one, of course, make sure that the filter is covering completely, even from the sides and the corners. So turn the watch over. You want to make sure there's no exposed display underneath. And then you also want to check the filters to make sure they're not overlapping. This is the trickiest part, where you have these bars here in the masking. Sometimes if you're not using one piece, one filter can lead into the next, and it won't look very nice. So that looks good. And then lastly, we're going to check for glue to make sure that glue hasn't leaked from the masking into the area where the display is. So that looks great. Okay, then I'll take a clean Q-tip here. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll just roll it, kind of clean off that display. Okay, and just do this to the front. Don't do this to the back. If you do this to the back, sometimes the thread on the cotton will get caught on the residue of the glue, and then now you'll have this like streak hair of cotton running through the display. Okay, so that looks great. So we're going to set this masking off to the side. Okay, we're going to go back to our watch here. Okay, we're going to take a look at the watch and make sure that there's no dust on the inside. So I actually have to remove this plastic off. Take a look at the watch face. Okay. Okay, there's a little bit of dust there on the inside, so just clean it off. Another thing you can use here is if you have an air can, compressed air can, you can use that. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and another thing actually I just thought of now you can use are these guide stickers, and these usually come with cell phone protective films to take out the dust. So what I do here is I just stick it on one of my fingers. I hold the display upside down so dust doesn't go in there. I wipe off any dust from the top, and then if there's any dust remaining that looks like it's on the inside, I'll put this in. And you want to pull nice and slow. Don't pull quick, because sometimes if you pull too quick, the sticky residue from the sticker gets stuck inside the display, and then you have to go in there with a goof off to remove it. It's nice and slow. Okay, that looks good. So we'll set this to the side, and then you want to do this relatively quick, so we'll make sure our display looks good. Okay, we'll grab our masking now. Make sure that looks clean. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take the watch and flip this over. Put our masking in. Give it a press, take our display, push that in as well. Push those tongues to the side that I told you about in the previous watch. Okay, that looks great. Okay, in this case, the gasket or O-ring came off, so just make sure that there's nothing on that O-ring. And then look for that side on the O-ring that's got a little indent right there. And you're going to line that with the 12 o'clock position of the watch, because there's an indent in the back of the case too. Okay, looks good. Take our case back. Okay, check the O-ring, make sure it's not being pinched. Okay, press down in the middle and then finish up on the screws. All right, that looks pretty good. So let's take a look at what our work looks like. Yeah, that looks great. Let's test the functions out. Timer. Stopwatch. And then the time, which we'll set later. And that's pretty much it. So let's take out both watches now so you can see what they look like. So there you go. Job done. So that looks pretty great. So we'll get these in the mail for him in a couple days. Again, what we did was we basically took the watch units and the maskings from each of these, swapped them out, did a negative display here, and then just added some colored filters to both of those. And that's great. Now you can have like a couple cool watches to wear. So thanks for sticking with it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And if you could like or subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And again, as always, if you have any other ideas of some modification colors you'd like to see done on the AE model of Casio watches, just shoot me a comment below and I will try to get to them. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.